we'd like to sincerely thank our Patreon supporters. All right, guys, what's going on? I am getting my day started at the Enclosures, and you can see in the Enclosures that well, we're just getting back in town from visiting Tyler, and the weeds are growing quite large. So I need to go through the Enclosures. This one doesn't want to latch for me. And I need to weed whack. But also, I don't believe we're dipping below mid to low 60s again this year. So I think that's it for the flaps on the hide boxes. I am definitely tired of going by, like say this female sulfur's enclosure, and never seeing her. And the only evidence of her even being in this enclosure would be her water being dirtied, which it's not right now. The footprints of her walking around, I can see where she's sliding her tail around. And occasionally, let's see, it'd be funny if we actually caught her in the lay box right now. She is not, she's in her hide. So we have to go through and unscrew all the screws on the lids, and the flaps are screwed from the back side. And what I want to do when I screw these back is put a stainless screw with a recessed washer there. That will keep the screws elevated, and I can see all the screws. I think they'll be square drive or a Torx drive when they go stainless, because I have to remove them to access the animals. I don't have my lids set up where they're gonna stay straight and rigid and seal the box. It's not really important in the summertime. It's important during the winter for it to be sealed. At the same time, we're taking the lids off. Let's see if I could see any, because this is where I see them, and everyone, not in this enclosure, but it seems like when they slide in, it seems like that's where they knock off the large ticks. I usually see in the enclosures that are a problem, a large tick on the ground or something like that. I don't see any in this enclosure, but in many of them I do. So what we want to do is go through, spray with permethrin around the perimeter of the enclosure, probably that palm tree in the lay box, and when we had the lid off the hide box, it very well. Now, that's going to be a problem with some of the Shire lizards. You know me, I don't want to stress out animals. So what we'll probably do is spray everything we can, remove the screws, start the new screws, and then what we're going to do is take that lid and move it over here. So that female will choose her lay box. We'll spray inside the lay box, and she'll choose to go in there if she wants to hide from anything, and wait till she's in there, and then spray her hide box real well, and then put the lid back on. So there's going to be a progress to some of these lizards, especially the larger males that choose not to be tamed, like my large male black dragon. He's a run and hide lizard, and the large guru sulfur male. You'll get to see them as we take the lids off. So I'm sure Kagan will be with me, and we'll get to film some of these larger males when we remove the lids. Some of the lizards you never get to see. So that'll be kind of cool. And aside from that, I'm gonna, well, you could see more of the stuff I need to weed whack. So I'm gonna go get that done first. I have some hard-boiled eggs to feed some of the lizards, just to get those eggs out of the way. Ivy that just laid eggs is probably gonna be voraciously hungry right now. And I'll get that done, and then we'll come through and get started. All right, I have my better half here to help me out, and it'll make it a heck of a lot easier. We have Alexander out right on the ground right there. His enclosure is gonna be easy because we've already treated him and his enclosure. We just need to take the flap off, and we'll talk about some little spring tidy ups we're gonna do. And if I could give you the camera, Kagan, It's not bad in his enclosure at all, but because of the animals tooling around in the dirt, I get this buildup of soil. The females that are digging around a lot more have a whole bunch of dirt built up on their thresholds. That stops the door from closing properly. So not bad on this enclosure, but still worth, it's gonna twist the door. Maybe we can glance and I could just show you a door that's way worse off. Really, any female's enclosure, here's a perfect example. Ivies, boom, look. And the door is, you can tell, compacting against that. So that dirt, the door is gonna close so much easier once we remove all that. It's definitely, now if my hallway was grass, I could just rinse that out and that would be that, but
it's the perfect little tool for that.
no, that door was binding on that and now it closes perfectly. So we're gonna do that as we go through the enclosures. Now Alexander's, we're just gonna unscrew his lid, remove the flaps, we'll inspect his box, but we treated it, what do you say, a month ago?
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be that bad. Let me grab the screw gun. I don't think we're gonna bring the permethrin in there. And I'm gonna say that right. Is that how you say that?
Everybody kind of has a different way of saying it.
All right, as I always say on this channel, I live in the South and it's my culture to mispronounce everything. So it's okay. I can say it however I want. Respect the culture. I get corrected on stuff a lot. It's not a big deal. Of course, he's gonna come around. He's gonna be curious. So, you remember how he doesn't like his boiled eggs?
Yes.
I'm sorry,
He
his
doesn't
raw
like the
eggs.
raw eggs.
He does not like raw eggs, but he'll eat his boiled eggs. He ate a boiled turkey egg today. So funny how they are. Okay, so I also, at the beginning of the video, explained that we were going to put stainless steel screws and cup washers. Everything is not organized in the shop yet, and so I didn't find them. I know I have a whole bunch of them, so I'm not going to run out and buy them. So we're going to skip that step. We're going to put the screws back. I already went and rinsed off the heads of the screws. Otherwise, there would have been sand in the heads of these screws and would have stripped a couple of them. He's going to be a little curious about what we're doing.
Let's move it.
Okay, so now we're going to inspect the box. When we did this box before, it was riddled with ticks. All right, so that is a tick that poison killed. There you go. Now I can continue talking as long as he's not inspecting my fingers overlapping the plywood. I'm so curious about what we're doing, right? It looks good. I don't see anything suspicious. I don't see any. Is that a dead one? Petrified and dead. Everything I see is petrified and dead. So I think it died off in that last treatment. So that's good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need the screw gun that I have.
Mm-hmm.
There should be just 2 screws that hold the flap on. He is wondering what the heck we're doing. I want you to see this. The inside of that flap, look at the dead ticks and tick eggs that are in there, and the other side. That's all dead. None of that's moving. I'm probably gonna hit that area again because I know. No, you can't climb up, buddy. All right, well, you can climb up. So I'm gonna grab the permethrin. I also, this giant log used to stand up. Get that back up so he can kind of lay up there again. We are going to replace this dead tree. We have another plant to put in here. He didn't let this tree settle in. He dug it up. And monitors are gonna do that. We are gonna graft and do as much free tree growing as we can on the property. I know Calusia is a really good one. We can literally just cut a branch off, stick it in the ground. 2 months later, we have a plant that we can put on the ground. Hopefully he's not gonna catch his foot on that screw. We'll have to get this plant in the ground at the end of the video. We'll come back to that. He's gonna knock that over, isn't he?
He's got a fort.
Yeah, that's what they do. They love their high spots. Now, if I was spraying the whole hide box as we're gonna do with the other ones, you can smell that. It's strong. I would leave the enclosure or the hide box open for a period of time. So it's gonna be a slow process because really we're gonna rinse them out. But I don't think we need to go crazy and spray his enclosure. I'd say we just put the lid back on and let this one ride, treat the others. And then I think we reassess the situation in like 2 to 3 months, mid-summer. This is the best time because right now it's dry season. The rain's not gonna wash away what we're treating.
I'm excited to see some of the lizards that I don't normally get to see.
Oh.
By peeking in their boxes.
You make that sound more fun than it's going to be. Hey, buddy. I'm looking forward to being able to walk into a shy animal's box where they can see us and actually start interacting with them with a piece of food, and they'll actually come out. Those flaps allow them to stay so shy.
I can come and help. Up here using a power tool, and he's like, "What you doing?"
All right. I'll move over here. It's like working with a toddler. He's a character, right?
He's a goober.
So now we just came back from our trip to Wichita, visiting Tyler and Betsy. What was your favorite part about that trip?
Oh man, don't put me on the spot like that.
Favorite 5? I don't know. What were some of your more exciting things? I know herping with Lawson I didn't expect to be as fun because I've caught snakes growing up and stuff like that. But to like drive somewhere specifically to do it and see as much. I never expected to get to like a hillside and flip rocks in a 1/4 acre area of land or a 1/2 acre area of land and see dozens of snakes.
Such a dense population of them.
That was wild.
And in such a big group too. I mean, I've never been out with more than just a few people, but with so many, you cover such a large area.
So who do you want to see? Because there's going to be some that we just got to open up. You want to see this sulfur female?
Yeah.
No, see, this is the thing, is like ideally, I would rather treat her enclosure and her lay box and then bring a temporary hide in, because when we pull the lid off of that, I need her to go somewhere else, and I need her to hide in that so I can thoroughly clean her hide and treat it, let it air out, and then put it back together.
Yeah.
I don't want to rush it and then have her go into a fumigation box. I mean, that's what it's going to be with all the strong chemical
Would
in it.
she run into her nest box?
Well, that's what I would like to treat first. So we start off with that trowel, because I'm sure we're going to have to do her doorway. Yeah, it might make more sense if we did it like in order. If we jump around. Oh, hers is not bad at all.
Handling the African rock python.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. So it was a, what would you call it, a barely manageable, like wasn't a crazy calm African rock pythons. No. I haven't known many that were crazy calm.
Yeah.
I think I have had some in the past that were as calm as my Burmese pythons. So I'm not gonna go anywhere near that water, and then we're gonna take that water out. So you know, the perimeter of the enclosure is what I really want to get. Make sure she's not in here. No, I want to look at the bottom and inspect it. She has been digging around a little bit. What do you think? Keep the lid off of that for a period? Let that...
If that's going to be her hidey hole for when we open up her lid, I think so.
Okay. So we're going to let that air out and we'll come back to it. Are we worried about this water yet? I was really good about not spraying anywhere near it.
Yeah. If we're going to spray behind it, we could always...
It's going to be... if I dump that water, take it out back and clean it and bring it back in, there's no sense in spraying the poison over wet because it's not going to be effective.
Yeah.
But if it gets the ticks that crawl everywhere else in that enclosure, then I think we've done a pretty good job of controlling them. Coincidentally, when we were in Kansas and herping that day, the ticks were pretty fired up. Quite a few people that were herping got ticks on them.
Myself included.
So it's... Now I mentioned that in the beginning, that usually the ones that are problematic, I usually see ticks by the entrance. Like they seem to get knocked off walking into their boxes. Okay, so now you don't know if she's in here. She could be in this box. Ooh, remember she's been hanging on the screen?
Oh, wow.
I mean, I'll get the hook lid totally off, and then we can really see. Is that her moving in the box below me that I heard?
I'm not sure. I wanted to make sure this door was closed.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, she could decide to run for it.
Mm-hmm.
Oop. So, yep, that was a cycle we missed. She's digging the lay. Unfertilized.
It's crazy how well she's using her lay box to dig those holes and not digging like random spots in the enclosure.
But with the lid off, or I'm sorry, the flaps off, we'll be able to monitor her weight, see when she's laid, and then time it out and know that 2 weeks later, we're gonna start watching for the cycle. Keep an eye on her, keep an eye on her. Then we know when to open the door. This whole year, been so busy, we've missed every opportunity to put animals together to get a successful breeding. It's been, other than the albinos that are so stinking obvious, everything else has been really a loss. So I don't know who we want to go to next. Instead of repeating this, let's just wait till we start opening some boxes. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Exciting. Such an exciting title. So as we promised, some of our animals that you don't get to see, this is the other young female whitethroat that's always hiding. Now, she is not with the other male. In fact, she almost has the same growth rate as the male. She started off the same size as that young male over there. And he has exploded past his female, but this female, who's being caged alone, has kept pace. In fact, I think that she is either cycling or maybe she made it past her cycle and she's got all that extreme body weight. So I've never had a whitethroat, a blackthroat, or any other rock monitor cycle and lay unfertilized. I don't know if they do or don't, honestly. Somebody who knows better may be. I've never had, unless there was mating, I've never had a rock monitor lay eggs. So I'd be curious to see. She's got an awful lot of weight on her compared to the other female. We do know that the other female has had some mating behavior with that young male, so there's something going on there. But I'd be curious to see what happens with this female by herself. Now, she will be paired with Frosty next time around, regardless. If she loses that weight and we see a little swelling come on and think it's time, I know. We'll put your lid back on. So we've sprayed her whole enclosure. We've got her flaps off. We still just need to clean her water, and this enclosure is good to go. We even took care of some wasps that had a nest there in the corner. I don't know if they bother the monitors, but they definitely bother me. And you.
And me.
All right, so I'm gonna try and carefully get her lid on without upsetting her too much. She doesn't know what to do, does she?
Nope.
She's at the entrance?
Yeah, she's poking her head out.
She's not a chicken. She's
peeking. Peeking out.
And that's what we're hoping for with these flips removed, to get more interaction, less animals hiding. I was so happy at the other property when I had them off, and so sad when I had to put them back on for winter, because you know that you're going to lose those animals, the shy ones, for another 6 months. And whatever ground you gained, you're going to lose again. All right, so this is a less than ideal situation. We meant to block off the monitor from leaving. Or first I should say this is our big black dragon, unnamed, wild caught. He has produced multiple clutches for us. But he has, again, with the flaps on, kind of reverted back at the other house. He used to stay in the water. He used to stay out on the shelf. But with the flaps on, he's gone back to a run and hide. He's reverted back to wild, so to speak. So we wanted to unscrew the top and slide it off, and his exit would be along that back wall right into the entrance of the other hide box we put in here. So he could go right in there. But of course, removing the lid, one screw stripped. So we are gonna have to open this lid in the very worst possible way, like to us. So we are gonna see so he is a much stockier animal than Forrest. You see how big his body is?
Yeah.
And I would say he doesn't eat as much because he's shy. I say we just, again, I don't like stressing out animals. It's not a negative experience yet. So just go ahead and work yourself to the door. We're gonna let him find his hide box, and we're not gonna let it be a bad situation for him.
God, he's huge.
Yeah, he's a big boy, a totally different body shape. It's cool because from the door, we're gonna see him walk out. We can close the door at the last second. He'll find the other hide box. So saying they know that's usually security. He's like, oh crap, still see me. Oh man.
The way he peeked up right there.
You see how his face is even shaped different? I mean, you could look at Forrest and look back at this male, and they have a different face shape. Now, when Forrest came to me, Forrest was still about that same length. I would say just around 6 feet. Mm-hmm. This male was about 4 feet. So this male made just, his head's bigger. Mm-hmm. Leaps and strides growth, just massive amount of growth. He is a hunk.
Yeah, he's real stocky. And his Forrest's face is more like slender almost.
His whole body is more slender. And again, this male eats less than Forrest because he's shy. He misses more meals. He misses more tongue feeding opportunities.
Yeah.
You know, the animals that are our favorites, they just get more attention and more food. Oh, he sees Pete. Worst timing, Pete. He just doesn't know. He'll figure out that other hide box. So once he finds the other hide box, we can block him in, hose out his existing, because I do know he has ticks. I know he has ticks. And we will hose out his hide box, clean it, spray it, the backside of the lid. We've already done the perimeter of the enclosure. And once it's all done and reset up, the flaps are off of his hide, then we will remove the lid from his temporary hide and he'll go back to his regular hide box. Mm-hmm. And then we will clean out that hide box to use on the male Guru sulfur mix.
Forrest is out right now. I could get a good comparison between the two.
Okay.
Hi, Forrest. You checking out my toes?
In the torso and neck, the other male is about 40% bigger. Remember, they're weird about other males or other monitor smells. So.
Oh my goodness.
He's such a good boy. You too, Pete.
You too, Pete.
All right, now we're going in the female sulfur's enclosure. I was smart this time and screwed just a block off board that I would use for any normal cage maintenance. I can block them off in there. I've already got this unscrewed, and I don't think she's gonna be... Did I forget one screw? Forgot one screw. Of course. Oh yeah, because I was saying, I don't think the channel has seen her since the day I got her.
Oh wow.
And to be perfectly honest, I've only seen glimpses of her.
Holy cow. Oh, she's gorgeous. Oh my gosh, she's beautiful.
Very light, nice and heavy. I wouldn't put too much closer. Yeah, that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to bruise up her nose or any of that. So that's the downside. I mean, that is an extreme downside to housing outside during winter, is they revert back to wild. Some of them revert back to wild in the winter, and this is an animal that, I mean, I didn't, but the old owners could pick up and handle sometimes. And she just kind of, you know, I got her right at the beginning of winter. She went right into a hide box, and she's been kept to herself, and she had that option of not being seen for so long. Oof. So we're gonna back off. We're gonna let her find the lay box so she can hide. I don't like putting that stress on an animal. Okay, now we are going into the Guru female's enclosure. I'm gonna be quiet because the sulfur female is still on the screen, and I don't want to get her upset again. Because we really just want to get this cover off, see this lizard, and then it can choose its lay box, that's its hide box tonight, and tomorrow we can block it off and spray and handle its hide box. She's about to go through a shed, and you can see how pretty she's going to be.
Wow.
I'm gonna
She's big
guess.
too.
Yeah, well, she's got to be big. That male is a giant. And we'll back off of her again, just like we did the other female, and let her settle down without too much stress. I don't think she's as bad as the sulfur female because she does spend quite a bit of time out. But we still never really get her on film. It's always like right before you take the camera out that you get to see her. So we're not going to do much more today. I think what we're going to do is handle
Thank you.
difficult lock. The ones that we've already sprayed, getting them dry and back together so animals are secure for tonight, because it's still not warm at night. I think it's going to be like 65 tonight. So if these females are going to their lay box, I can plug in their lay boxes, their heat pads in there for tonight, 65 is not horrible if they're in a hide, but now that we've removed their flaps, they're a little more vulnerable. So I think we could always use the heat source until it's like 70 at night. Yeah. All right, we're gonna finish up today, and then tomorrow, the Guru Sulfur Male. I'm excited to see him. It's been a bit for him. As soon as I get to the bar area, he runs and hides. I can hear him shuffle into his box, and by the time I get here, I see the tail sliding in, and that's it. So it's gonna be cool to see him. Okay, we said we were gonna wait for the next day, but you know what? When it gets dark this late, sometimes you just keep on working. We were gonna stop like an hour ago, and we've just kept saying one more. This is the Guru Sulfur's cage. I think he's our biggest monitor, but did that on purpose, didn't he? But we really haven't had solid eyes on him in a bit. So we have all but 4 screws undone. We have the other hide box that he can retreat into.
Oh, I'm excited about this one.
I'm sure that's all the screws. Let me just set the drill outside.
Oh, wow. Holy cow.
He's going through a shed, so only his head and a little bit is his actual color. Everything else looks pretty dark, but he is stunning.
Yeah, he is. Jeez.
Absolutely stunning. So we're just gonna back off. We're gonna let him find the other hide box, and then we'll be able to treat his box and his whole enclosure with him all secured. Okay guys, it's the next day. We are in the hallway, plugging away on the enclosures. Kagan is mixing up some more of the permethrin, and I'm gonna be embarrassed to show you guys this. I mean, this is, when we say we had a tick problem, the Guru Sulfur Male is in this transfer box, and I have him blocked off with this 2x4. It's screwed on there. I apologize for the turkey. But these in the corner are baby ticks, and those are swollen big ticks. And I don't know, there's 50 or more inside that box. There's ticks behind the box. I've sprayed everything down good. I'm waiting for the chemical to dry off, stop smelling so strong. The flaps are removed from the front. I have sprayed all of the flaps down really well, so we don't take tick eggs from the flaps and introduce them to something else. So I think I'm gonna spread them out one more time, spray all them down, and I think I'm gonna leave them outside for like 2 weeks before they find their way into my shop, because I'm not gonna farm them in a different area. We're gonna start being really careful about this. We wore out our other sprayer. Now we're working with a small pump sprayer to have the poison ready. And you know, I don't like using this, and I've never had to with the other property. The other property, I used the diatomaceous earth, and that in the hide box was always enough. And I've tried that, and I've done it multiple times at this property, and everything seems to, the rainy season is just wetter here. I don't know. I couldn't keep it dry. As soon as you get it wet, it kind of loses its strength. This time of year, right now, we're in the dry season. I think the diatomaceous earth would have done a great job, but I think the problem is a little bit out of hand, and we need to attack it a little more aggressively. I just looked at the outside of his hide box, and so like that is a big tick. about the size of a raisin. Can't even walk. It's probably as full of blood as it can be, and it's probably going to or already has deposited eggs. Disgusting. They are disgusting creatures, absolutely. And so I'm gonna keep working my way down the hallway. We are changing around some of the hide boxes. I know the sulfurs at the end need to go to the next size up, so we're doing that at the same time. I think in this row we only have Lily, who doesn't seem to have hardly any. I've rarely seen any on her. So we're gonna do Lily. Pinky has, but I've treated her, but I haven't treated her hide box, so I'm excited to hit her hide box. She's very interested in the Guru Sulfur male, his box being open and him being out. But walking down, Ivy's out, Sunny was out today, the male black dragon was out. Everyone's a little more active because the boxes are open. Again, that female white throat, she's out crawling around. She would be in her hide box, not exploring, if that flap was on. So it's, I don't want to say forced a lot of animals out. No, this is one that's forced out. This is my Bivitatus, and again, it's about to shed. So it says, I think I posted on Instagram a really good picture of it recently when it was just out of a shed. But that's a 2-stripe water monitor. This monitor, after it's shed, has perfect solid bands down its side. Now, I also always swore that this was a male, and looking at the base of a tail, it is the most question mark monitor I think I've ever owned, for one this long. It's a solid 4.5 feet. I'd say it's almost 4.5 feet, and the bulge is so minimal, I can't tell. As soon as we turned our backs, I heard it go to the bathroom, and I turned my neck. It was a full aversion. I would have been able to positively sex it, and I missed it. That would have been foolproof if I would have saw that. So we'll just keep an eye on it. I need to move that transfer box to the sulfur at the end. Like I said, this female sulfur is in, I mean, that very small confined hide box did a really good job for it this winter because there's minimal airspace and it only required 1 heat mat. But she's definitely ready for the next size hide box, and she's also ready for a lay box. I was hoping that she would lay unfertilized and we would see it. We're gonna find out when we pull that lid what she looks like right now, and if we need to get a plastic lay box in here ASAP just for her to handle her first egg laying process. That's where we're at, and then we're gonna go to the rock monitor room. Okay, we're down to Pinky and Ivy in the hallway. Oh, you know what, I'll show you the female sulfur that you guys never get to see. In the very last cage, all of those are put back together. She is on her shelf. She is a shy devil. Kagan is gonna start working with her. Very, very pretty. And I think whatever eggs she had in her, I think she put in the ground. And if you look at the hole all the way to the left, and then there's a depression that's filled up just to the right of that one, towards the corner of that slab, I'm gonna say that's where she laid and tried to fill it back in. So I'm guessing that's where her eggs would be. So we may even just check that later. And that's the small box we're getting rid of. That's her transfer box. She's already crawled into it once and we missed it. As soon as she crawls into it again, we'll close the door, and we're gonna go ahead and transfer her the large 4-foot box that the Guru Sulfur is temporarily in, because all the water monitors are supposed to have the big boxes. So he is still hasn't crawled out. We've removed the lid and he is still just laying in it. But what we're gonna do to do Lily's is just open the door. Let's let her explore the hallway. Come on, Lily. Come on, girl. Come on. Come on, Lily. Come on. Lily, come on. Come on. Got a little turkey egg for her. Come on, Lily. She is. There you go. We don't skip a beat on food. It's gonna smell my drill. Now we're releasing her into the hallway. The hallway is another cage. Both doors are latched. Come on, Lily. Come on.
She's like, I'm gonna check out this power tool.
She got excited every time she saw this. I don't think she's... You see, she's got a belly full of unfertilized eggs. Her back is slightly arched. I think the Guru Sulfur male just realized that there's a female monitor walking by him. There's your egg right here. Now she smells. Now she's been weird about other lizard smells. And remember, she's a very male aggressive female. So she is smelling other lizards that have been in this box. The male black dragon was in this box. The Guru Sulfur male was in this box. So she is smelling them. We've actually witnessed some weird... Is she about to do an aversion?
She's averting, yep.
She's everting. She smells them and she's averting. She's, but she can handle her own. She's... I've never seen a male pick on her. In fact, I've seen her beat up quite a few males. And a lover of food, huh? Okay. I've got my toes curled up. She loves to crack stuff against me. There goes the idea of her doing it on the board. That's the turkey egg, one with the tougher membrane. Oh yeah, there you go. Whole thing down. Oh, Lily. That's a good girl, Lily. Okay, well, we're gonna let her enjoy her hallway. If she does anything funny, I'm sure Kagan will grab the camera and show us. So we're gonna go in and treat her lay box, her hide box, and just check over the whole enclosure. You know, we never put this palm tree in the ground, and I guess my idea was to move it out if I wanted to dig up her eggs, but this palm tree is just in the way in here, don't you think? Is it adding anything to the enclosure? She beats it up so bad it doesn't really get to grow.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do something with that. Not super excited with the palm tree there. But, all right, we're gonna start working on this enclosure.
Just got Lily back into her enclosure. She had a wonderful time walking up and down the hallway, sniffing at every little nook and cranny, checking behind every bucket that we had there. And just got her back in. I had to carry her back in because she didn't want to, she wanted to keep exploring. Jerry ended up taking out that palm tree that was in here. We're gonna find a new home for that. I can't wait now to see the play area done. Because she's
gonna be my favorite in there. Although I think Forrest is gonna enjoy it. There's a couple of them, Alexander.
Yeah.
But I mean, her more than any. I think I'll probably have her in there more than anybody else.
Yeah. What do you think, Lily? Are you excited for the play area to be done? Nice.
Okay guys, I'm gonna do this quietly because just like we said, removing the flaps, animals that we never see are going to be out more. And you know, Alexander is watching all this go down. The young female sulfur that's always hiding. This one definitely has eggs still in its belly. So this would be her first cycle for laying eggs. And just a little bit further down the hallway is my black dragon that we saw a little bit yesterday. I'm just gonna pass by not to excite him, but I'm gonna say he's only 5 foot long, but he's a chunker. So now looking at him right there, I'm gonna say he's not as long as Forrest, but he's a absolute chunk. And I was looking to see if the guru's out. She's not out. Ivy is watching everything go down. She's out. Forrest is out. And then right over here, the male guru sulfur. Please tell me you guys can see him in the corner. Again, we saw him briefly when we did his box. I don't know if Tom can zoom in on that or not, but he's out. He wouldn't be out if it wasn't for removing those flaps. So how cool is that?
So cool.
Like,
especially that black dragon being on the door like that.
2 days ago, he would walk down this hallway and be like, okay, we have like 5 animals we get to see and a whole bunch of empty cages. And that's what it always felt like. Empty cages. They're not empty cages. There's beautiful monitors in these cages, and it is so cool to see them. Now, we only have to finish Pinky in this row, and then we're done. And then we're onto the rock monitors, so we're gonna get that done. Spring and ticks. Okay, we finished Pinky's enclosure, and we did the same with Pinky as we did Lily, and we let Pinks explore the hallway. And she's been walking around. They love to smell the other monitors' enclosure doors. They seem to really enjoy that. Oh, do you think she's made a choice? That's Forrest's door.
This is a good one.
He's a keeper. But you're gonna go back and still explore? No? She's pretty set on that one. So this is gonna be her like second or third time walking the hallway. She's paced back and forth and smelled all the enclosures. Any other ones, just out of curiosity, that she was as interested in? Was it just males or females?
The other one she was very interested in was the white throat on the very end.
Oh, the white throat. All right, well, that's something. The female. Oh, well, the male's in there right now.
Yeah.
We didn't necessarily show it in the video. Well, I guess we are now. But Frosty and the female white throat at the end were showing a whole bunch of interest in each other. So the door was opened. There was a whole bunch of mating behavior, head twitching, and all that good stuff. They are separated right now. That doesn't mean that there wasn't a moment while we were inside eating lunch. She's right there. Doesn't look terribly stressed. It seems like the rock monitors aren't aggressive with each other if you have your timing off by a little bit. He's very into the air. You see all that tongue flicking. He is scenting everything. He was definitely in hot pursuit. All that cool head twitching. We were watching that through the screen. So we'll keep an eye on these guys over the next couple days and see what happens. Some baby Frosties would be really cool. We're gonna get Pinky back in her enclosure and then start with the rock monitors. Okay guys, it's been a wonderful day getting this work off of our shoulders. Excuse the rooster. We've seen animals that we haven't seen before. We got Diamond out of her box. She's refused like 2 meals. Once we got the lid off, she is so big, she's ready to lay eggs. So I think Tyler Shrek 2.0 was successful, I believe. So we're gonna see if she puts eggs in the ground. And we took the cover off for Jane and Onyx. I'm gonna try and do this quietly as to not to disturb this. But that is a successful pairing of black-throat monitors. I'm gonna back off and let that happen, but that's Onyx and Jane mating right now. I'll try and be a little quiet. Day's been awesome. We put the white throats together. Sapphire is side-eyeing them. I think she is not happy about what's going on over there. Sapphire sees what's going on. See her? She's eyeballing them. She is not happy. This has been a massive load off. I have been so stressed about all these ticks. And as soon as I sprayed the poison, you could see them dying immediately. I'm looking across, the black dragon's out, the vivitatus is out. It's so cool to see all these monitors. We've got a lot of good monitor content coming. Our goal, next video, to finish Jane's enclosure, to separate the two of them, but maybe that's not happening yet. What I might do is finish it, move Diamond over, Diamond over one more enclosure, and then open that up to maybe take some of the pressure off Jane and Onyx, but still let them stay together for a little bit longer since they're pairing right now. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could end this video on some white throats pairing? But that could be wishing for too much. Let's just glance before I turn the camera off. And yeah, that's too much. I see the female right there. But they are together. There was some promising behavior. She doesn't look stressed. In fact, she could be in her own enclosure, but she's in Frosty's. So that's a good sign. She does have quite a bit of swelling. She is chunky, and they were showing some really good behavior through the screen. So it was not just taking care of something that's been weighing on me. It's also the pairing of animals has been insanely weighing on me. And because I've been so busy with the work and everything going on this year, there's the vivitatus right over my shoulder. This is an animal that was almost never out. We took the flaps off and the animals are out. You guys are gonna see more of the animals on the show. More content. It's better for all of us. I think that's it for this one, guys. Thank you. Until next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you soon.